Welcome, seekers, to another episode of Deep Dives. Today, we're venturing into the very foundation of Buddhist teachings, the Four Noble Truths. Now, these might sound simple on the surface, but trust me, these four insights are so profound that you could spend a lifetime just unpacking one of them. Think of them not as some ancient philosophy to blindly accept, but more like the scientific truths of our existence akin to gravity or the laws of thermodynamics. These are fundamental realities about life that the Buddha himself realized when he awoke. And according to him, to not grasp these truths is to wander through life in a daze, repeating the same mistakes and never understanding why they bring us pain. But there's good news, these truths are called noble for a reason. Simply hearing them is the very first step on a path that can eventually lead you to your own awakening, to becoming a Buddha yourself. So, let's dive in and see how these ancient teachings can illuminate our own struggles with the mystery of life. The journey begins with the first noble truth: life is dukkha. Now, the word dukkha is often translated as suffering, but that's a bit too narrow and can be misleading. We might say we suffered through a bad day, but the Buddha meant something much broader. Think about it: losing your keys. That's dukkha. Losing a loved one. Absolutely dukkha. Regretting a bad lunch choice. Dukkha. Regretting decades in a bad marriage. Also dukkha. Stubbing your toe is dukkha, and so is living with lifelong trauma. You see, dukkha encompasses suffering, yes, but also dissatisfaction, discomfort, stress, and general unpleasantness. It's a much deeper concept, signifying a profound reality. We never truly get what we want, and even when we do, we inevitably lose it. And here's where it gets a bit surprising. The Buddha even told his disciples that pleasure itself, whether material or spiritual, is dukkha. The joy of an orgasm. Dukkha. The immense happiness of seeing your child born. Dukkha. Even the satisfaction of understanding these very teachings. Dukkha. Why? Because none of these last. Whatever happiness or pleasure we find in this world, it will eventually fade, leaving us with the pain of separation. So the Buddha wasn't just saying life has unhappiness. He was saying that even our perceived happiness contains the seeds of future unhappiness. It's like pleasure is just a mask for pain, achievement for disappointment, and happiness itself, a mask for dukkha. Now, you might think this sounds pessimistic. But remember, the Buddha is like a skilled physician. He's not exaggerating the illness or denying it exists. He's diagnosing the symptoms correctly, understanding the cause, and importantly, seeing that a cure is possible. And what did this awakened physician discover as the root of this universal dukkha? The second noble truth: the cause and origin of dukkha is thirst. The Sanskrit word for thirst is trsna, and it's no coincidence they sound alike. Think about any bad experience you've had, big or small. What's the common thread? In each case, you wanted your experience to be different from what it actually was. This fundamental desire for reality to be other than it is, that's thirst. And it's not just thirst for the wrong things, it's thirst itself that breeds dukkha. Whether it's a monk yearning for enlightenment, a lover for their beloved, or a trader for a bigger paycheck, the specifics don't matter. Thirst, in all its forms, leads to dukkha because we either don't have what we desire, or if we do, it's never quite as good as we imagined, and even if it is, it never lasts. This thirst is like an addiction, constantly driving us to seek more, even when our desires bring us dissatisfaction. It's like the mythical Hydra cut off one head, and two more grow in its place. But here's the truly life-affirming part, the third noble truth. It states that it is possible to bring dukkha to a complete and permanent end. Through his awakening, the Buddha directly experienced a reality free from all thirst and all dukkha. He called this reality nirvana. Now, nirvana is incredibly difficult, almost impossible to put into words. Our language is built to describe the illusory world of our senses, but nirvana lies beneath all appearances. Think of it like trying to explain colors to someone who has only ever seen in black and white. The literal meaning of nirvana is to extinguish, to blow out. It's not a state or a thing, but a transition, the extinguishing of thirst. All our likes and dislikes, desires and attachments, hatred, greed, delusion, and the very sense of a separate self, these are the flames that turn our lives into suffering, and they all go out in nirvana. So, desiring nirvana is actually nonsensical, as nirvana is the very end of desire. As Walpola Thoreau beautifully put it, nirvana is not the result of anything, it simply is. So, if there's a disease and a cause, there must also be a cure. And that brings us to the fourth noble truth, the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the Buddha's prescription, his detailed guide on how to live in a way that reduces and eventually eliminates dukkha. This path is based on the understanding that there's a wrong way of living that creates dukkha and a right way that leads to its end. It's not based on subjective opinion, but on a kind of observable reality. This eightfold path, encompassing aspects like right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, describes the qualities of a fully awake human being. It's a path of moral, spiritual, and intellectual perfection, a way of life to be practiced and developed by each individual. Remember, Buddha means the one who awoke. These four noble truths are like whispers trying to awaken us from the nightmare of human existence. And the good news, as the Buddha realized, is that this nightmare is just a dream. This has been a brief look at the profound Four Noble Truths. I encourage you to delve deeper into these teachings and see how they resonate in your own life. Perhaps, like the Buddha, you too can begin to awaken.